An adultery guide, stay or go. Adultery, catch him her then decide, stay or go. Introduction. There are two types of cheating. Emotional. Physical, sexual. There are many ways to catch a cheater. Intuition. Old-fashioned looking around like his car, pockets, check around if he claims to be somewhere, go check to see if his car is there. Technology, GPS devices, computer spyware, check his cell phone, he might have to, check Facebook, check his name on dating websites like the freepof.com. There is DNA testing, hiring a private investigator or putting a hidden camera in the car, house, etc. Once you know he or she is cheating, Christians make a big thing about forgiveness and all that, but I think you should split if you can afford to go it alone. If the cheater wants you back, then they'll come crawling. There are even lie detector tests. I think every relationship is unique. Some people are comfortable together because they live separate lives anyway. The wife is usually taken care of financially and they go out in public as a couple for social events, for the children's sake, etc. I talk about how to cheat without getting caught because I'm an equal opportunity writer. I talk about anything that some people are interested in. There is a mistress culture of kept women and a cheating culture, as with the website Ashley Madison and others. Most sex dating websites don't recommend cheating. They're just there for sex hook ups. There are many sugar daddy websites around for wealthy guys looking for a girlfriend with benefits on the side. I'm a guy who was brought up Catholic. To me, I don't believe in cheating. I believe you should be noble enough to be who you are. If you don't want to be married or want to be married and have sex on the side, find someone who accepts this upfront. This book discusses all these things about cheating. Chapter 1. The affair/adultery/cheating. The affair/adultery/cheating 1. But I say to you that whoever looks at a woman to lust for her has already committed adultery with her in his heart. Matthew 5:28. Each one is tempted when, by his own evil desire, he is dragged away and enticed. Then, after desire has conceived, it gives birth to sin, and sin, when it is full grown, gives birth to death. James 1:14-15. Do not offer the parts of your body to sin, as instruments of wickedness, but rather offer yourselves to God, as those who have been brought from death to life, and offer the parts of your body to Him as instruments of righteousness. Romans 6:13. If you are involved in a committed relationship and are attracted to someone else, the issue is your current relationship. In all likelihood, you feel neglected, unloved, discouraged and taken for granted. Consider having the affair with your wife, treating her like your mistress, and the wife should act like a mistress all the time, taking care of herself for her husband. Affairs are the modern-day version of the mythological story of Tristan and Isolde, two lovers who have a love affair that can't be nourished in real life, so they have to wait until death to reunite unless they get a divorce from their respective spouses, which was not possible in the olden days. I was talking to an old guy telling me about his life and his 4 wives. He told me infidelity, like sleeping with someone, is forgivable. A romance is not. It's fine to sleep around because you always go back to your wife. The hard part is if you fall in love with someone else. Most affairs will not end happily, although every once in a while, someone finds a soulmate and divorces the lukewarm spouse they were with. In these cases, I say it's justified. Think it through before you do it to see if it will be worth it. Whatever energy put into the affair will diminish your marriage equally. It's very difficult to burn the candle at both ends. Sooner or later, you will get burnt one way or another. Beyond that, it's wrong to dishonor someone you pledged your love to forever. If you feel that bad about the marriage, get a divorce, then go off and do what you want. Because many people have been cheated on, a lot of them write books about it to expunge the anger. I found at least 20 books on cheating at #306.736 at the library. Cheating is not always planned, nor does it follow the wishful thinking of fantasies, but the undeniable fact is that just like Joseph was tempted by the Pharaoh's wife in the Bible, the temptation is always there. Every man is only human. If the situation presents itself, many men will go for a roll in the hay, even though at least half of all men in general surveys say they've never cheated or never will, which is why I don't buy into those set ups with hidden cameras on TV talk shows where they set up a guy in a bar, a beautiful undercover girl comes onto him and he inevitably bites. This is entrapment. It's like being handed cake on a platter. You're gonna eat it, but in real life this rarely happens. You have to actively romance a girl to get into bed with her. Girls generally don't come on to guys. The man would have to initiate somewhat and charm a girl, so what I'm saying is that most men probably won't cheat, but if it's shoved into their faces by a horny, young, beautiful girl, most would go for it. It's just human nature. If it's only a one-shot deal or an isolated incident, it may not be a big deal, seeing how we really are in our carnal states. If it's a full-fledged love affair with a new girlfriend, the marriage has a good chance for a divorce. Many men say they will only cheat if their wives aren't giving them good sex, if the relationship is rocky, if they're away from home for longer than a month, if a beautiful woman comes onto them, or if they fall in love with someone else. The affair/adultery/cheating too. Anything where you betray the trust of your mate is cheating. It's not my husband I'm worried about. It's other women. Chick on TV. An affair is like crossing an invisible line. You intuitively know when you cross from friends to lovers. For women it's usually emotional. For men, it's often a mix of emotional comfort and sexual release. The affair could be because you are not getting what you want from your spouse, or it could be that you like new experiences. It's no big deal. This is the true nature for men anyway. Keep looking for new experiences and thrills. Most people who cheat do it with somebody at work, a friend or relative of their spouse, like a sister or brother of your beau. If your spouse is flirty with your friends and siblings, he could be cheating with them. Watch the trashy talk shows and you will see that most cheaters are cheating with someone their spouse knows. Most divorce lawyers will tell you that everyone cheats. I say almost every man will cheat in the right situation. Many affairs start at work because the co-worker understands the guy more so than the wife and kids sheltered at home, alienated from his world. Affairs often cause explosions affecting everybody around, like kids, relatives, friends, co-workers, etc. It could lead to a loss of a job and divorce. Some big-fangled study by some university said that the passion of most marriages is gone after 30 months, 2.5 years. Affairs often cause a grief process in the person doing it and in both after it's revealed. It's like grieving for a dead relative because of the betrayal factor. The emotional pain shatters everyone. If you want to be a player, don't get married and have kids, or if you're married, get a divorce first. After affairs are exposed, it's very difficult for the players to be around each other. Beyond the emotional pain, some people reportedly get physically sick, lose weight, gain weight, etc. It's very depressing. It may not be worth it, so think it through before you do it. The critical factor is that there's someone at home who you're dishonoring by doing it. If you want to be affair-proof, you should think about and discuss the possibilities of temptation with your wife. If someone comes onto you, it's flattering, but affair-proof yourself by telling your wife about it so that she knows what's going on and it's all out in the open. The way to prevent an affair is to have a good marriage and good sex. Everyone lusts in the mind. Just like Joseph in the Bible, when you feel temptation in any situation, get out as fast as you can. Avoid close relations with the opposite sex. Once emotions come into play, she will be feeling down one day, you will move in to comfort her, and soon, it will be all over. That's the way opposite sex friendships often evolve, so if you want to prevent an affair, don't even become friends with somebody of the opposite sex in the first place. If you please each other, there will be no reason for the other to stray. Don't flirt. If you're tempted, ask yourself if it's worth it. If you're involved in an affair and want to get out, Do it straight up. If she threatens to tell your wife, tell her yourself before the jilted lover does. Think hard before you plan an affair because they always end up more complicated than they seem on the surface. You might end up getting close friends involved and putting them in compromising positions stuck between sides. You might get caught or your lover might squeal if she doesn't get what she wants from you. Some people cheat because they want to get caught to end the marriage without having to explain themselves to the jilted spouse. It takes the heat off from ending it in a whimper, just cheat, there will be one big explosion and it's over. Once a cheater, always a cheater. If they cheat once, there will always be doubt. A friend of mine was caught cheating and went back to his wife for a while until they got divorced. Contrary to popular opinion about the relationship getting better, he said it's like a scar, there's always ugliness there, the damage has been done, always some mistrust. After about 2 years after the reconciliation, they divorced for good. There's no excuse for cheating. Who's the bigger fool, the one who cheats or the one who stays? Cheating is tolerated for men because most women are helpless victims without a marketable skill or the desire to go it alone, so they will hang on to a cheater because they want to keep their comfortable lifestyle. The affair/adultery/cheating 3. In most marriages, the emotional connection goes after a while and then it becomes a matter of living as roommates, simply managing life's affairs together. Many men can cheat in relative comfort, but the problems start when the mistress purposely has a kid to try to snare the guy away for herself. The solution for all cheating victims is to be the master of your life such that you can walk away from a scumbag and take care of yourself without needing him. No marriage is completely immune to the problems that can lead to an affair. Even if you have a loving husband, there may be a vixen out there with her eye on him and he's only human. The thought will cross his mind and he will rationalize that everyone else is doing it and he won't get caught, so why not? All women get old. The bevy of fresh, young things never ends. Regardless of how well you age gracefully, your husband is still always fantasizing about fresh, young things. It's just the nature of man. An older man can snare a fresh young thing much more so than an older woman can snare a fresh young stud, although many older women with dudley husbands are so horny that they get young guys to give it to them on the side, and guys are only too willing for straight sex with anyone, even an old gal. Many young guys will gladly oblige an older woman who wants to cheat because sex is sex. The bottom line is that sex is there seething beneath the surface of everybody ready to pop out, and that's basically the way it is. Everybody lusts in their hearts. Don't trust the church social scene. There are just as many affairs there as anywhere else. Everybody says the best solution is to satisfy your spouse at home and they won't have to cheat, but even that's not enough for this one type of egotistical guy called a serial flirt/cheater. That's where his ego is, that's what keeps him going. If you're married to one of these guys, recognize it and dump him quick. Don't live in denial like he will change, 'cause he won't. All affairs are great at the beginning, but remember that sooner or later, it will come to a head and you will be caught in the middle. If you reject your new lover or don't leave your wife as you promised, remember that hell hath no fury like a woman scorned, and she will tell your wife on you. The person who is cheating is not necessarily having a ball of it either. If he's a real human being, he will feel like a jerk, he will feel guilty, he will have to constantly think about his double life and play cover-up, i.e., all the lies to try to act like everything's normal. He may develop a hate-on for his wife for no apparent reason except that it's just his way of dealing with the situation. He may pick fights with his wife and try to sabotage the marriage. He may bring close friends into it, tell them about it, get them to lie and make them feel uncomfortable like they have to take sides or get in on the deceit game. On top of that, it's hard to lie to the kids and the stress of it all is tough. Even if you don't get caught, it's still tough. You're worried about getting caught and what will happen when you finally do get caught. If you cheat and it's over and you feel guilty, don't tell your spouse in a moment of guilt. Let sleeping dogs lie. Although rare, some states hear cases of alienation of affection where you can sue a third party, the girl your man was cheating with, for breaking you two up and causing emotional distress. There are also homosexual and lesbian affairs among heterosexual couples. Keep a vigilance if your spouse is getting too chummy with his or her same-sex friend. Oftentimes, in order to help preserve the relationship, the person cheated on doesn't attack his or her spouse, they attack the lover, blaming it on them. If you don't love your spouse, them having an affair is the easiest way to get rid of them for good. Flirting or near cheating activity should be taken as a warning sign of what will eventually happen. Computer cheating often leads to cheating in real life. Once you betray his or her trust once, it gets easier every time. A good movie from 1945 to 46 is Brief Encounter. Chapter 2. The Affair/Adultery/Cheating 2. The underlying causes of adultery. Some people say it's not the sex, it's the betrayal of trust. When monogamy becomes monotony. Caption of Cheatin' website. If it's something you don't want me to know about, it's cheating. Love has a tendency to expire with the fulfillment of its yearning. George Simmel, sociologist. Society is full of inharmonious and most fatal alliances between men and women under the name of marriage, alliances as unnatural and monstrous and as fruitful or evil as a union between liberty and slavery, truth and falsehood, purity and impurity, alliances in which no compromises can ever produce harmony or happiness. Henry C. Wright, 1855. In order to get exclusive love, be more loving. True love is not having to work at it. It's happiness together as is, each with the freedom to pretty well do what they want without being controlled by the other. Because this is so rare, because love is not always a strong bond, it follows cycles. When it's weak, people get suspicious of their lovers and think they're cheating even if they're not. This suspicion alone could be what destroys a lot of relationships. At the core of it could be this need we seem to have to try to change our partners to suit our desires when true love is a comfortable unity as is without trying to change anyone. Is this the core of love problems in the modern world? Should the war cry of love be, don't try to change your mate. Love him or her for who they are. If you're trying to change someone or someone is trying to change you, it's not the time to cheat. It's the time to get out of the relationship. My treatise is that if you marry for love, you won't cheat because there will be no reason to, and also because you respect the sanctity of the relationship so much that you wouldn't do it even if the opportunity presented itself, i.e., someone came onto you. Are there any situations where cheating is justified? Some people say if the spouse degenerates into a jerk, you're justified in cheating. I say if your spouse degenerates into a jerk and there's nothing you can do about it, why stay? Get a divorce so you can be free to do whatever you want. Nobody is immune to cheating. The paradox of cheating is that when people are asked about the morality of it, over 90% of them say it's wrong, but when they slip and slide into an adulterous relationship, they rationalize it. The biggest sign of a cheater is that he or she is growing distant with you. Many people hire private detectives to get evidence which is used in divorce court. Whereas one time men did most of the cheating, women are catching up. This is probably due to women going out in the workforce en masse. The workplace is considered the biggest place where cheaters meet each other. Estimates say it's where 70% of affairs start. Wherever men and women work together, there will be cheating there. The latest realm is the internet. Some people go so far as to say that a cyber relationship is still cheating, when you don't even meet the person physically. MarriedButLooking.com is one such website. The way to catch a cheater is to install tracking software on his computer like SpectrePro.com, SpectreSoft.com, and get a record of all his emails. To get further evidence for divorce court, make up a new, hot-sounding email address and start a correspondence with him as a bored vixen looking for action. If he's got a profile on Facebook or any dating website, send him an email telling him he's cute. Take all the evidence and file for divorce. If one or the other neglects their spouse, the neglected spouse looks elsewhere to get his or her needs fulfilled. It's often not a clear all or nothing line where you either cheat or you don't. It's called the unintentional relationship or the coffee cup syndrome, people befriending each other little by little. Once this starts, one will volunteer problems in the relationship, which is kind of like creating an intimate atmosphere with this new confidant. The bottom line is that if somebody cheats and the other decides to stay, there will be a scar there and there have to be changes. There has to be more romance in the relationship. In her academic treatise, Against Love, a Polemic, 2003, Laura Kipnis doesn't really ask the question of why people cheat but rather makes an attempt to examine the social contract between men and women, the one that has been in place at least since biblical times, the one man one woman paradigm, and simply asks the question as to whether the paradigm could be a little off, especially in light of our modern world with its self-centered, narcissistic leanings. She basically says that the causes of cheating may be something as simple as hedonism, which is the linchpin of our modern consumeristic world, to get all the pleasure and sensations we can for ourselves because this is what society is based on anyway. The corporate political forces want to make us good consumers such that we're always buying new things to try to give us a new thrill, because at the very heart of it, we're bored with life and bored with sex, and this is why cheating is so popular. Because we don't get the sex we want in monogamous relationships, so we look elsewhere for it. In essence, in our modern society, we've got too much time on our hands to sit on our asses, watch TV, then fantasize about all those luscious images they're always beaming at us, such that we want to go beyond our little families to get out there and get some of that stuff for ourselves. Why commit to monogamy if you feel like a sex addict, as most men do at some point in their lives? Why marry someone if you don't feel pure love for them, if you do it for less than honorable motives? Why take monogamy as a sacred given in life when some people would clearly function better in polyamorous relationships, several lovers all at the same time? Why work at something if you don't feel it in your soul? The modern approach to working at love is the same as the old Protestant work ethic: keep working your ass off as your righteous duty, and sooner or later something should give. Maybe this is not the right way to approach life and love. Maybe we should be more intuitive about it. Some of us weren't meant to be in monogamous relationships for all of these reasons of sexual and romantic diversity, but there are other reasons as well. I will loosely call them mental health reasons. A true state of love is happy comfort together. Most people don't really get this. They don't feel it, so they're insecure about their love, always trying to analyze their lover to see if he still loves them. Not only is this horrible for the relationship, it's also horrible for personal sanity. You're never sure of your love, so you're always suspicious and feel terrible. This is no way to live happily. Try to marry for true love, for your own peace of mind, and if you find yourself too sexually diverse to stay with one person, don't get married. Just go along and do what you feel is right day by day. Don't try to play both ends, to have your main squeeze who thinks she's exclusive with you and your dishes on the side. If that's what you want, go polyamory or casual sex lifestyle right up front. Why get married in the first place? People will not stop falling in love one-to-one, monogamy style anytime soon, and as such, they won't stop feeling they need a little desert on the side or falling out of love when they meet someone else, even though they're still legally attached to the first. The only way to divorce and adultery-proof yourself is to hold out for someone that you can sense really loves you and you love them equally as well, and you both have some kind of old-fashioned, traditional values. Things could change later on, but this is the only insurance you got. The way I see it is that most people don't really marry for pure love. It's more a pop culture, socially indoctrinated love of living out the roles based on what they've seen on TV and are now trying to imitate. When you really fall in love for real, you don't have to fake it or delude yourself. I've had both, delusional love and real love, so I say that your heart and soul will tell you when it's real. Anything else is not real love, so why bother? You're just setting yourself up for adultery and divorce. The good book saith, even though adultery is presented as a fun, common thing in the secular world, according to the Bible, it violates the sacred covenant of marriage. Whatever threatens the intimate bond of matrimony is wrong and cruelty to one's spouse to boot. Nevertheless, the temptation has been there throughout human history. The bottom line is fidelity to your spouse. After all, it is one of the 10 commandments in Exodus 20:14, you shall not commit adultery. The following are a variety of passages out of the Bible dealing with adultery. However, I saw a somewhat secularized preacher give a sermon where he went soft on adultery, saying that cheating doesn't have to mean divorce because we've all been hurt and hurt others, but God has given us forgiveness, therefore we should forgive, thus making our marriages stronger. He said there are good people around who make momentary mistakes. Why should we destroy everything because of one mistake? There will be pain and anger, but with God, we can overcome and become better lovers. That was this one guy's view. I don't buy it, because true love in my view means not even the thought of cheating, so I don't think I'd tolerate it myself, although some people say forgive and forget, and many women stuck with a few kids keep forgiving time after time after time because they know the guy's paying all the bills and they will be left out in the cold should there be a divorce. After one time, you should really leave. After 3 times, get the guts to leave. The more TV talk shows I watch about adultery, or cheating as they call it, the more I see a casual, liberal view of forgive and forget, but I think it's ridiculous. I believe in open relationships among consenting couples, but if it's a traditional marriage created in God's church, cheating is a despicable transgression anyone can commit on the sanctity of a relationship. If they do it, it's over, that's it, no discussion whatsoever. I see a few people on those talk shows with the guts to kick their cheating spouses to the curb, but most don't. Adultery was prohibited in Jewish men but only with Jewish women, not Gentile women, so men wanted their cake and to eat it too, saying it was permissible to sleep with foreign women not of their race. Some passages in the Bible that deal with adultery are Exodus 20, 14, 17, 22, 15-16, Deuteronomy 5, 18, 21, 22, 22, 28-29, Ezekiel 16, 40. The eye of the adulterer waits for the twilight, saying, no eye shall see me, and conceals his face. They know not the light. For the morning is to them like the shadow of death. Drought and heat consume the snow waters, so does the grave those which have sinned. Job 24:15-19. The lips of a strange woman drip like a honeycomb, and her speech is smoother than oil. But her end is bitter as wormwood, sharp as a two-edged sword. Proverbs 5:3-4. The Lord commanded Moses give the Israelites the following instructions. It may happen that a man becomes suspicious that his wife is unfaithful to him and has defiled herself by having intercourse with another man. But husband may not be certain, for his wife may have kept it secret, there was no witness and she was not caught in act. Or it may happen that a husband becomes suspicious of his wife, even though she has not been unfaithful. In either case the man shall take his wife to the priest. He shall also take the required offering of 2 pounds of barley flour, but he shall not pour any olive oil on it or put any incense on it, because it is an offering from a suspicious husband made to bring the truth to light. The priest shall bring the woman forward and have her stand in front of the altar. He shall pour some holy water on a clay bowl and take some of the earth that is on the floor of the tent of the Lord's presence and put it in the water to make it bitter. Then he shall loosen the man's hair and put the offering of flour in her hands. In his hands. The priest will hold the bowl containing the bitter water that brings a curse. Then the priest shall make the woman agree to this oath spoken by the priest, if you have not committed adultery, you will not be harmed by the curse that this water brings. But if you have committed adultery, may the Lord make your name a curse among your people. May he cause your genital organs to shrink and your stomach to swell up. May this water enter your stomach and cause it to swell up and your genital organs to shrink. The woman shall respond, I agree, may the Lord do so. Then the priest shall write this curse down and wash the writing off into the bowl of bitter water. Before he makes woman drink the water, which may then cause her bitter pain, the priest shall take the offering of flour out of the woman's hands, hold it out in dedication to the Lord and present it on the altar. Then he shall take a handful of it as a token offering and burn it on the altar. Finally, he shall make the woman drink the water. If she has committed adultery, the water will cause bitter pain, her stomach will swell up and her genital organs will shrink. her name will become a curse among her people. But if she is innocent, she will not be harmed and will able to bear children. This is the law in cases where a man is jealous and becomes suspicious that his wife has committed adultery. The woman shall be made to stand in front of the altar, and the priest shall perform this ritual. The husband shall be free of guilt, but the woman, if guilty, must suffer the consequences. Numbers 5:130. Why will you, my son, be ravished with a strange woman and embrace the bosom of a stranger? For the ways of man are before the eyes of the Lord, and he ponders all his goings. His own iniquities shall take the wicked himself, and he shall be held with the cords of his sins. He shall die without instruction, and in the greatness of his folly he shall go astray. Proverbs 5:20-23. Out of the heart proceed evil thoughts, murders, adulteries, fornications, thefts, false witness, blasphemies. These are the things which defile a man. Matthew 15:19-20. The scribes and Pharisees brought to him a woman taken in adultery, and when they had set her in the midst, they said to him, Master, this woman was taken in adultery, in the very act. Now Moses in the law commanded us, that such should be stoned, but what say you? This they said to test him, that they might have grounds to accuse him. But Jesus stooped down and with his finger wrote on the ground, as though he heard them not. So when they continued asking him, he lifted up himself and said to them, He that is without sin among you, let him first cast a stone at her. And again he stooped down and wrote on the ground. And they which heard it, being convicted by their own conscience, went out one by one, beginning at the eldest, even to the last, and Jesus was left alone, with the woman standing in the midst. When Jesus had lifted up himself and saw none but the woman, he said to her, Woman, where are your accusers? Has no man condemned you? She said, No man, Lord. And Jesus said to her, Neither do I condemn you. Go and sin no more. John 8:3-11. Know you not that the unrighteous shall not inherit the kingdom of God? Be not deceived, neither fornicators, nor idolaters, nor adulterers, nor homosexuals, nor abusers of themselves with mankind, nor thieves, nor covetous, nor drunkards, nor slanderers, nor swindlers shall inherit the kingdom of God. Corinthians 6:9-10. Fornication and all uncleanness, or covetousness, let it not be even hinted at among you. Ephesians 5:3. Marriage is honorable in all, and the bed undefiled, but whoremongers and adulterers God will judge. Hebrews 13:4. You have heard that it was said, Do not commit adultery. But now I tell you, anyone who looks at a woman and wants to possess her is guilty of committing adultery with her in his heart. Matthew 5:27-28. Our bodies were not made for sexual immorality. They were made for the Lord, and the Lord cares about our bodies. Don't you realize that your bodies are actually parts of Christ? Should a man take his body, which belongs to Christ, and join it to a prostitute? Never. Run away from sexual sin. No other sin so clearly affects the body as this one does. For sexual immorality is a sin against your body. Or don't you know that your body is the temple of the Holy Spirit, who lives in you and was given to you by God? You do not belong to yourself, for God bought you with a high price. So you must honor God with your body. 1 Corinthians 6:13, 15, 18-20. The Pharisees came unto him, tempting him, and saying unto him, Is it lawful for a man to put away his wife for every cause? And he answered and said unto them, Have ye not read, that he which made them at the beginning made them male and female, and said, For this cause shall a man leave his father and mother, and shall cleave to his wife, and the twain shall be one flesh? Wherefore they are no more twain but one flesh. What therefore God hath joined together, let not man put asunder. They say unto him, Why did Moses then command to give a writing of divorcement and to put her away? He said unto them, Moses, because of the hardness of your hearts, suffered you to put away your wives, but from the beginning it was not so. And I say unto you, whosoever shall put away his wife, except it be for fornication, and shall marry another, committeth adultery, and whoso marrieth her which is put away doth commit adultery. Matthew 19:3-9. For the commandment is al and the law is light, and reproofs of instruction are the way of life, to keep thee from the evil woman, from the flattery of the tongue of a strange woman. Lust not after her beauty in thine heart, neither let her take thee with her eyelids. For by means of a whorish woman, a man is brought to a piece of bread, and the adulteress will hunt for the precious life. Can a man take fire in his bosom and his clothes not be burned? Can one go upon hot coals and his feet not be burned? So he that goeth into his neighbor's wife, whosoever toucheth her shall not be innocent. Men do not despise a thief if he steals to satisfy his soul when he is hungry, but if he be found, he shall restore sevenfold, he shall give all the substance of his house. But whoso committeth adultery with a woman lacketh understanding, he that doth it destroyeth his own soul. A wound and dishonor shall he get, and his reproach shall not be wiped away. Proverbs 6:23-33. If a man is caught having intercourse with someone else's wife, both of them are to be put to death. Deuteronomy 22:22. Adultery one-liners. Sarah could commit adultery at one end and weep for her sins at the other and enjoy both operations at once. Joyce Carey. Once a hoe or player, always a hoe or player. If somebody is loose before marriage, don't expect them to automatically change because of a marriage license. If your spouse is cheating, look in the mirror. Obviously you're not enough for him. There's something missing in the relationship. Even in a great marriage, we will still get attracted to other people. Once a cheater, always a cheater. A foolish marriage vow. Why should a foolish marriage vow, which long ago was made, oblige us to each other now? When passion is decayed. We loved and we loved, as long as we could, till our love was loved out in us both. But our marriage is dead, when the pleasure has fled. 'Twas pleasure first made it an oath. If I have pleasures for a friend, and farther love in store, what wrong has he whose joys did end? And who could give no more? 'Tis a madness that he should be jealous of me, or that I should bar him of another. For all we can gain is to give ourselves pain, when neither can hinder the other. John Dryden, 1631-1700. There is nothing better for the spirit or body than a love affair. It elevates thoughts and flattens stomachs. Barbara Howard, Laughing All the Way, 1973. When someone steals your wife or husband, the best revenge is to let them keep them. Think about it. I speak from experience, no one is faithful in love. Propertius, Roman. When cheated on, wife or husband feels the same. Euripides, Greek. When a woman unhappily yoked talks about the soul with a man not her husband, it isn't the soul they are talking about. Don Marquis. If he can be enticed to cheat, he's not worth having in the first place. No adultery is bloodless. Natalie Ginsburg, The City and the House, 1985. The rooster performs his services 8 or 9 times a day with different chickens. That's pretty good. Enlightened Hillbilly. Where there's marriage without love, there will be love without marriage. Benjamin Franklin, 1706-1790. Adultery is a meanness and a stealing, a taking away from someone what should be theirs, a great selfishness and surrounded and guarded by lies lest it should be found out. And out of the meanness and selfishness and lying flow love and joy and peace beyond anything that can be imagined. Rose Macaulay, The Towers of Trebizond, 1956. What you don't know won't hurt you. Cheating guy. She became a mother, I wanted a wife. Cheating guy. It is better to be unfaithful than faithful without wanting to be. Brigitte Bardot, The Observer, February 18, 1968. People cheat because they want to re-experience the intensity of teenage courtship. Social scientists studying cheating. When two people make love, There are four people present, the two who are there and the two they're thinking about. Freud. Men wander, women weep. All I wanted was a man. With a single heart. Not somebody always after wriggling fish. With his big bamboo rod. Kenneth Rex Roth and Ling Chung, The Orchid Boat, 1972. A great old movie, Strangers When We Meet, 1960. This movie is free on YouTube. This is the classic adultery movie. Chapter 3. Your cheating heart. Should you contact a cheater's spouse? The truth is that spurned mistresses are one of the biggest ways the cheater gets caught. She calls the wife. If your friend is being cheated on by his or her spouse and you know this for sure, I say that I would tell my friend in a short, terse paragraph or two, refusing to gossip about it. Just say you should check it out. Some girl told her friend that her fiancé was cheating. The girl got mad at her friend for telling her but checked it out, discovered he was cheating, then didn't marry him, but along with that, the two girls' friendship was destroyed also. Can cheating help a marriage? I read a silly article on easyarticles.com about how cheating can help your marriage if you're being mentally and emotionally abused because 1. Your spouse will see that he or she is not the only fish in the ocean, wake up and start treating you better. 2. You'll get your sexy groove back by being with a sensitive lover. I say that in this world of anger, jealousy, and violence, he might wake up and treat you better, he might divorce you or break into a jealous rage and kill you. Cheating won't solve the problem of an inattentive spouse. Leave, get a divorce, then look for someone else. Chapter 4. After adultery. Face a cheater. You're allowed to spy or hire a private detective to catch a cheater, but why bother blowing up into an anger fest when you catch him or her? They've made their decision. You have to make one too. If you stay, it either means you're weak, you're afraid of going it alone, you like his financial support, or you don't mind, as a few polyamorous people are. But the bottom line is, if he's going behind your back, it means that you're second fiddle in some way or not good enough alone. If you were, he wouldn't feel like cheating. My attitude is, if I was in a monogamous relationship where I was trying to be a good guy and my spouse cheated, that's a message to me to leave her. I don't care what she did before I came along, but if we marry or live common law with an understanding of exclusivity, I have no tolerance for weak or dishonorable people. You don't have to do anything stupid like make a big scene like they do on them TV shows. It doesn't solve anything. Either kick him out if you have kids or leave. Call the cops. Tell them to escort him while he packs, then leaves. Whatever evidence you have, keep it to use as grounds in divorce court, because it gives you leverage in the disbursement of the assets. He violated the marital vows, so he's the one punished for it. After the affair/broken trust. But now I tell you, anyone who looks at a woman and wants to possess her is guilty of committing adultery with her in his heart. Matthew 5:28. After adultery, the trust is broken. If you constantly worry about whether you can trust the cheater again, it's best to be single. The only trust we can ever have is trust in ourselves. If you want to stay in the relationship, you have to find out for sure what is the emotional attachment to the girl he's cheating with: casual girlfriend, serious girlfriend, kept woman, sugar daddy girl, mistress of whore. The higher his emotional commitment, the less you want to keep him and the less he wants to be with you. If he's with a hooker, it's just sex, not really an intimacy betrayal. At this point, the marital vows and your shared history together are moot points. The past is gone. Don't try to use it as leverage or guilt. Look at the situation now. Is there any love left? Can you make it alone without his financial help? Hopefully you don't have to stay with him just because you have no marketable skill and can't pay your own way through life. Then you have to confront him as to how serious he wants to be with you, and if he is, he has to leave her immediately, go to church with you and tell the priest he cheated, asking for forgiveness. A public declaration of cheating is often good for a relationship. Some support groups and religious groups have sessions where everybody confesses their transgressions against their spouses. Statistics say that 35% of all people cheated on stay in the relationship, which means that 65% leave. If you stay, you must be aware that once a cheater, always a cheater. Past performance is the best indicator of future performance. Once you find out it's real or he/she admits to it via confrontation, you must not just wait and see. You must resolve it one way or another. It will probably be the most devastating feeling you've ever had in your life. You have been betrayed by the man who promised his life to you in his wedding vows, the deepest violation of your trust and love. Calm down. Don't get a gun and shoot him or shoot yourself. It has happened before many millions of times in history. You might take all his suits and pour bleach on them or throw all his stuff out of the second-story window, but beyond that, don't take drastic action. Most women who have been taken care of are afraid of going out on their own, so they stay and take it. If you do this, you will always feel slightly miserable. Get a skill, a job, then get out on your own. You might fear being abandoned by your spouse after many years of marriage. You have to stand on your own 2 feet. Don't beg him to stay. Let him go. It's not the end of the world. It's fine to be angry, but take it cool. The best you can do is to plan a future course of action. If you're a self-sufficient, functional person, you can simply leave and get on with your own life. Salvaging the relationship is a point of controversy. If somebody cheated on me and I was being a good guy in the relationship, I would end it right there, but many people say they would try to save their relationship, so I'm including that part here along with my own personal viewpoint. I was brought up Catholic. That's got something to do with it, but the other part is just old-fashioned integrity. For someone to cheat on me would be the ultimate betrayal. It's not just the sexual thing, they would be violating the pure and sacred foundation of our relationship. It would be the cardinal sin. There would be no more discussion of the matter. I'm disgusted at all the cheaters I see on all the talk shows and all the wimps who stay with them. If you wanna fool around, stay single. If you get married, it's a contract to honor one person. Then there are all the self-styled New Age, liberal so-called therapists that just want to make money, so they counsel couples who cheat, claiming to try to get them back together, but all they really want is to string them along and make money off you losers out there who want to legitimize your cheating. I heard one guy whose viewpoint seemed to make some sense. He said that to men, sex is different from love. If it's just sex he's having, has no emotional attachment to the person, and sees you as the love of his life, you still have a good chance, because men are very good at compartmentalizing things and can separate sex with another girl and love for their wives. Women, however, seem to cheat for emotional reasons, so they can't separate the sex from love as readily, although some do. If you cheat, expect a divorce. If you need it that bad, just rent a porno movie and fantasize about it, or go to a hooker, which is more impersonal, thus less demeaning on the wife. You could write a letter to the person who cheated on you saying, "I hate you because," and let it all hang out. It will be therapeutic for you. In your letter, don't specifically state your intention, either reconciliation or termination, instead leave it up to them. Say that we have to make a decision now about the future of this relationship. Give it to them and see where it goes from there. The ball is in their court. They either take your feelings seriously and talk sincerely apologetically, or that's it, get rid of the bum. Cheating is tough to deal with. On one hand, some people would forgive a momentary fling, but on the other, if the person really loved you in the first place, why in the world would they ever cheat on you? I saw a TV show where the young wife cheated on her husband because she wanted to get back at him for being so controlling of her. He took it like a dog, and they tried to gloss it over like it was no big deal. This is crazy. With so many millions of people out there, I would never waste my time with somebody who cheated on me. I'd kick her out and find someone else, even if we had kids together. The media has a field day with all manner of public people getting caught in illicit affairs, virtually all men with younger women, but I'm a little bit surprised that the consensus seems to be to save the marriage and try to work it out, unlike my seemingly naive view to dump him, no ifs and buts. The facts are that many women are comfortable with their lives being supported by a cheating husband, have very few skills to make it out in the world on their own, nor do they want to. Some couples have a long history together, and despite the infidelities, there still is some attraction there, kinda like a pair of comfortable old shoes, plus the fact that many people don't think they will be able to attract anybody new again, especially if they're middle-aged, so it's kinda like this is as good as it's gonna get, so I better keep the bum, warts and all. Many people have separation issues. They're afraid of going it alone, having to make it in the real world, and the psychobabble abandonment issues. No matter what, don't hold on to a poison person. Let go. Get the guts to make it on your own. As I already said, I believe cheating is a sin, and once done once, there's no room for forgiveness, but the climate in society seems to be contrition, forgiveness, and a new attempt at trying to make it work. Whether the players are deluding themselves or it's real, only time will tell in each situation. There will always be doubt, and the betrayal will always be there, lurking at the back of the mind. I believe the victim, usually the woman, must be strong, take charge, and refuse to take any more guff from the guy, because if she doesn't, he will soon revert back to his earlier lifestyle. If you're the person being cheated on and you find out, you have to make some important decisions, like whether to salvage the marriage or not. Firstly, you have to find out how deep the relationship is between your spouse and the lover. Ask him outright. Maybe it was partially your fault and you led him to it. Is it worth saving? Stay cool, don't insult him too much. Demand respect. Build trust. Deal with the problem. Don't just run away. Check the bank accounts, his possessions, etc. Is he getting ready to move out? Ask his friends. Whatever you do, don't demean yourself. Don't play victim. Don't go around bad-mouthing him and crying to everybody. Don't even talk about him much to other people except for one or two close friends for support. Don't threaten him. Try to talk it out rationally. Assess the situation and make a decision. Don't hang on just because he's bringing home the paycheck. It's time to get real and go it alone. If you're true to your God-given purpose in life, you will find somebody better in due course. You're your own rock, remember that. Don't cry to anybody or take their advice blindly. Do it on your own. Self-respect is not a birthright. You have to earn it. Imagine the worst and expect it. Sit somewhere quietly, make a decision, then act on it. It doesn't have to be one big, explosive action, just small steps towards whatever decision you made. Don't panic too much or get too angry. Evaluate the relationship. Change it. Take charge of your life. Be realistic. Don't expect him to change point blank, and don't expect to get over your negative feelings too quickly. I say get a lawyer, get the evidence, and get on with the divorce. Go to friends, family, and clergy for support. Don't confront your spouse in front of the children. Try to keep them out of it. Don't use them as your support group. They deserve their childhood. Tell them the situation straight up and leave it at that. Prepare them for the separation. One therapist says if you see someone that arouses you, think of sexual thoughts with your spouse. If you rebuild the relationship, it will have to be one step at a time. If the one spouse doesn't know what he has till it's gone, it might be the impetus for a better, stronger love the second time around. Sex will be tough the first time after a betrayal. You will have to seduce her all over again. I've heard of couples where the wife quietly sits by and accepts the husband's affair because it all seems to work out. Obviously, this is not love, and you're losing out on your right to a happy life. Get guts, get out and find a better bed partner. If your spouse is not fulfilling their sexual vows, either work on it or get a divorce, but don't cheat, especially if you have kids. If you're a cheater, you're a lowlife, down and dirty scumbag. You violated your sacred wedding vows. For what? A 4-second tingle down there. If you decide on a divorce, you should quietly prepare for it after you find out he's cheating and try to get evidence of it for divorce court. You might want to hire a PI to get some video surveillance tape. Amnesty night. I don't believe you can ever minimize the pain of being cheated on. Whenever one of a couple finds out the other is cheating, it always hurts. You can't deny that. One concept I saw among a support group of cheaters was what they called amnesty night. If you suspect your partner is cheating, tell them straight up that you want an amnesty night where each can pour out their hearts to the others about anything and everything, and they'll try to work on whatever problems they might have without retribution. The Punisher phenomena. The Punisher phenomena is simply the strong tendency for the one who was cheated on in a relationship, where they both talk it out and decide to stay together, to continue to punish the former cheater by making him feel guilty about it all the time. Withholding love and affection. Even though this person that was cheated on has said he or she has forgiven the other and has moved on, the pain and hurt is still in there for quite a while to come, at least 2 years or so, until some water has passed under the bridge and the former cheater has done some penance by being extra good. The person cheated on will punish the cheater, often on a subconscious level without consciously realizing that this is what he or she is doing. If you've been cheated on and decide to stay, watch yourself for this phenomena. Personally, I don't think I would stay with someone who cheated on me, but if you choose this course, you have to give a little bit too. I'm not suggesting you roll over and let him get away with it unscathed because you're too scared to go it alone, so you stay and accept his constant cheating ways, as I've seen in some couples. You will have some natural leverage in this situation since he was the one who committed a cardinal sin against you, but beyond a certain point of making him feel bad about it, it becomes cruel, you become the bad one, so it's a delicate balance of letting him know he's a dick, a jerk, and a bastard, and being loving and affectionate too, otherwise the marriage will self-destruct, because even though you forgave him with words, you didn't forgive him with your heart, and this will lead to problems if you both can't open enough to love again.